the number one podcast in the world for growing your insurance business.
I'm gonna do whatever it takes, getting it done, any means, get rid of these snakes. Now I'm up on my stakes, going all in like get rid of these breaks. Now I ain't never gonna break, double my pace till I go down one of the greats. One of the greats, whatever it takes, whatever it takes.
Can't believe I'm doing this.
Having fun, so that's all.
We like the life. And we're back, everybody. Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Seven Figures or Bust podcast. We're here Monday morning, mid-January. I'm your host, as always, Christian Brindle, joined with my co-host, Glenjamin Shelton. And we have some guests in the episode today. Really excited to have with us today Andrew and Bjorn from Essential Engine. Many of you may know Andrew, Mr. Andrew Saxa, from a time that he spent with another company. And, you know, super excited for you, Andrew, in this new opportunity that you're in with Essential Engine. And I know we're going to learn a lot about it as we go throughout this show today. But good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for being here today.
Good morning, Christian. Good morning, Glenn. Really appreciate the opportunity.
Good morning.
To speak with you guys.
Good morning, guys. Good morning from Minnesota, where it's actually pretty warm. It's 33 degrees, so I'm enjoying that.
Heat wave.
There you go.
Get the summer dresses out.
Right.
I was about to say, don't catch a sunburn with that. We can't be having that. For anybody that might not know about Essential Engine, or maybe either of you two, in no particular order, can you guys give us a short introduction about yourselves and maybe an introduction on Essential Engine and kind of what Essential Engine does?
Sure. Bjorn, you want to start us off?
Sure. Hey, my name is Bjorn. Been with Essential Engine on 2 different tours. Essential Engine started in 2001 as 2001 as 5-star professional. So a lot of people know us as 5-star professional. We go out and we do primary research on real estate agents and mortgage professionals, financial advisors, things like that. We've run the 5-star professional program for many years, 25 years, and then kind of COVID hit, and people said, "Hey, you help me promote my differentiation with 5-star. Can you help us out with some other stuff to help me keep connected with my clients?" And so we developed a series of products that help advisors or agents or what mortgage brokers stay connected with their clients through what we call real personal connections. So how can we bridge a gap where we're not subject matter experts on mortgages, we're not subject matter experts on minimum required distributions, we're not subject matter experts on Medicare, but what we are is subject matter experts in helping people find ways to make the personal connection, and then it sets up the ability to talk about the subject matter that you really want to talk about, whether that's insurance or investments, et cetera. So we rebranded as Essential Engine then in 2021 as we were kind of rolling out and changing the identity of the business. And we were lucky enough to be able to bring Andrew on and help us with some of our strategic channels. And so I think we're in like week 6 here. So we're just getting off the ground, but really excited and appreciate being on your show today.
Nice.
All right. And I'm Andrew Saxa. Some of you know me already. Very excited about this partnership again with Christian and Glenn. Can't say enough great things about Hire Heroes. Can't say enough incredible things about Everything Senior Insurance. And certainly can't say enough great things about 7-Figure Medicare Agent Summit, which is absolutely one of the premier events. If you have not got your ticket, what is holding you back? Go grab that ticket ASAP. So with that being said, like Bjorn mentioned, obviously very passionate about this industry. Been doing it for 10 years, helping agents just like yourselves connect with their most important, valuable member, partner in a way that really strengthens the relationship to not only keep that retention going, which I know is going to be a big subject today, but even going beyond that, have to turn your client into a raving fan for your business. You just do. And anything that we can do to help you strengthen that relationship, turn that client into a raving fan for your business, get the warm referral. That's our expertise. So very excited about this ongoing partnership. Extremely excited about the 7-Figure Medicare Agent Summit coming up. We will be there. Obviously, can't wait to meet and see everyone there.
Awesome. Gentlemen, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And, I think we're going to have a great opportunity to kind of highlight a lot of kind of what you guys do at Essential Engine. We're going to have a slideshow that we're going to save till the end. So make sure to watch all the way to the end and we kind of go through some of that stuff. But to kind of kick us off, so member retention, member growth in 2026. Glenn, where do we start with that? Because that's a pretty big, wide topic.
Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously Christian and I are huge proponents of growth. We talk about growing your business, growing your book, leads. How do you close more leads? How can you scale, etc. All of that stuff is front and center for us at Everything Senior Insurance. And, we preach it to all of our agents that we work with, everyone here in the 7-Figure Medicare agent community. But if you don't have retention, it's almost like you have a hole in the bottom of the ship and you're going to be bailing water with false churn. I can't stress this enough. As an agent, especially coming from the final expense side of the business, where retention is much more, I would say, of an uphill battle than even in the Medicare space, because you're going to naturally lose more clients compared to Medicare, but it's gotten so much more competitive here in the Medicare space over the years, as we all know. So coming into 2026, if you lost more than, I would say, 5% of your book, and that would probably be including natural causes, right? I mean, people who passed away from old age, you're probably leaving opportunity on the table. That's lost income. A penny saved is a penny earned, as the great Benjamin Franklin once said. And here we are, retention is just as important. So, as far as where we start with this retention conversation, I don't know. It's super important, though. I mean, Christian, what do you think? Well, where's the starting point on this map?
Yeah, I think, for me, and, love the saying, penny saved is a penny earned. I think, I've been stealing famous sayings lately, so I'm just going to say that I said that. That's been a thing on the show as of late. For me, right, like retention is all about, and I think this is something, Andrew and Bjorn, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this, and I think it's something that you guys specialize in helping with at Essential Engine. But, to me, retention is three things. Number one, client experience. I did a video recently and I was like, regardless of what you're doing in terms of the other things I'm going to mention, if your client experience is poor or bad, people aren't getting their problem solved, they're not getting their calls returned, they're not getting responses, there's big promises made and not a lot of follow through. Doesn't matter what you do. So first off and foremost, that's something that you as an agent have to get down, is client experience. Number two is familiarity. Your clients have to remember you. I couldn't tell you how many times we'll talk to clients that, we're stealing from other agents. And the reason why we're able to take them is, I have an agent, but it's just some guy that came to my house one time and signed me up. Yep. They don't remember you because you're not memorable, as our friend Galen Hendricks might say, but you also don't remind them who you are. You don't stay in front of them. And then the third thing is touch points. Touch points throughout the year, newsletters, mail, emails, text messages, the occasional outbound call when it's necessary, just reminding them who they are, bringing value, but being in front of them so they just remember you are who you are. Andrew, I'll kick this over to you. Like, what do you feel like is pivotal for client retention?
Christian, you nailed it, man. It really does come down to those three things, right? The client experience, which is how do you service the client, not just at the time of sale, but ongoing, right? Can they call you 24/7? Can they call you on a weekend? Are you staying connected to them with the right touch point at the right time to have meaningful impact, right? And then familiarity. And that is our strength. It really, truly is. And before I get into too much more, I do want to congratulate you, Christian. We've all known Galen for years. She is absolutely such a unique star in our industry. So for you to be able to partner up with Galen and again, just continue to do all the amazing things. Seen Galen obviously many times at the 7-Figure Medicare Agent Summit. One more shout out. Get your ticket immediately.
We got to get you paid, brother. This is great.
Yeah.
But I mean, and she's been incredible on those stages. And the things that she always talks about is the fact that once you bring somebody on as a client, how many additional services are you able to provide to that client? Because if you have that client in 3 or 4 different products,
absolutely,
that client's going to be yours for life. So how do you make a client familiar with you? How do you increase the client experience so it's unique, right? It's a Ritz-Carlton type of moment. And then again, beyond that, how do you connect with them with the right touch point at the right time? So I mentioned that this is our specialty. I'm going to start off with the fact that we have a magazine that is so unique because it really is focused on the retiring individual. So if you just retired,
nice,
or you're getting ready to retire, you actually have a magazine that's customized and delivered to you for less than the cost of a Hallmark card that we can help you with your T65 list if that's something that you need. So anybody that's turned 65 in your community, if you're an existing member, you've got to do something all year long. Listen, it's proven 80% of members who left their agent, they left their agent because they didn't have meaningful communication within the last 16 months. So I would argue meaningful communication is not getting a policy statement that says you need to pay more money, right? Meaningful communication is being able to connect with content that they're actually excited about getting with your brand right there on the front cover that's literally customized down to your individual client if you'd like. So just to touch on that, we had a grandkid not too long ago. Imagine, Christian, you're my agent. You sent the magazine to me and you said, hey, Andrew, hey, Tamla, congratulations on that little grandbaby. I promise you, that is the Ritz-Carlton moment. That is the thing that other agents simply are not doing. And when you can bring it all together, and again, whether it's with social media, whether it's a digital version of the magazine, whether it's even a postcard on an Arbor Day, right? Something that's just unique that other people aren't doing. We can do all of that for you, and we can make it where it's turnkey. It is extremely cost effective. And we're even going to give you guys a special promotion here at the end to tie it all together. So that's my thoughts.
I love it.
It reminds me when I got trained coming into the industry, I had this old school insurance sales manager. He'd been in the business a long time. And his strategy with retention and really building rapport with clients over the years, very old school. Have manila folders in a filing cabinet. He's talking to Mrs. Jones. He's got Mrs. Jones' folder in front of him. He's making little notes, in the folder. Oh, hey, Mrs. Jones, you said your son got into Yale last time I talked to you. How's Yale going for little Billy? And again, not in 2026, this isn't the strategy or system that I would recommend, but it is that touch point. It is that feeling, right? It's that emotion. Another saying that you'll hear a lot of, I guess we can say it came from Christian, since I guess all famous sayings are coming from Christian's mouth now, but people remember how you make them feel more than what you even say, right? So thank you, Christian, for another infamous saying there. But
so welcome.
I think it's really true. And this is something that I think earlier in my career, I used to think it was more about like the ones and zeros, like what I said. But I think now that where I'm at, like further on, I definitely think it's more about the experience, more about that emotional connection and less about what you actually say. And having kids, it's really the same way too. Like your kids aren't going to remember exactly what you said to them at certain moments growing up, but they are going to remember how you made them feel. And I think the client experience is really the same way. And what you just described there, Andrew, being able to connect and say, hey, I heard you just had a grandkid. That is amazing. And having that with that content, and it's living there in their living room, sitting on their coffee table next to their bed. I mean, that's very strong, very, very strong to be in the household like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, just to add on that, and I apologize, Christian,
you're fine.
I'm sure Bjorn probably wants to jump in on something here as well. But I was a grief facilitator, Glenn. I don't know if I mentioned this. I don't mention a whole heck of a lot, but I work with an organization in Maitland, Florida called New Hope for Kids. And basically it was kids who were dealing with losing a mother or father, right? So we would not only be able to provide real great therapy for the existing surviving spouse on a one-on-one setting, which was incredible at no cost, by the way. So New Hope for Kids, amazing organization, nonprofit, just unbelievable. Please seek them out. But I was a grief facilitator there for almost a decade. And one of the things I was tasked with doing is actually working with littles, middles, and teens and being able to repeat back to them, not give advice, not, share anything about, oh my gosh, I know, because what do I know? I really don't know anything, right, about this. We have professionals that knew, but my job was just to hear these kids out. And just as an example, we throw a beach ball wherever their thumb would hit on the beach ball. It might be something just like, hey, where'd you learn the news that your mother or father had passed away, right? So if you're a little kid, and Christian, you can definitely relate with this. I know you can too, Glenn. When you're working with somebody that's 5 or 6 years old and you ask them, to share something like that, they may start with the fact that they learned that information at a playground. They may also then go on a tangent about the fact that they remember a butterfly was circling around their head. They remember Jimmy was wearing green shorts, and they remember that it was blah, blah, blah. 10 different things, right? They were eating Skittles, and it was a green Skittle. Oh, my gosh. My job wasn't to give any other comment other than to listen to every single word that they had said and then repeat it back to them. So just going back exactly what you said, Glenn, it's not always the words, but it honestly is, how do you connect with them? Show them that you literally listened to every single thing that they said to you, and then they'll move on. So,
100%.
Boy, words are so important. And really, honestly, it was great for sales, because in sales, right, we have 2 ears, 1 mouth. We're supposed to listen more than we talk. I'm terrible at that, and I constantly. But it just reminded me of that, Glenn, and I agree with you 100%.
Bjorn, I wanted to kind of pass this one over to you and get your thoughts on this. Like, there's something about a magazine that's so different than any other touch point, right? Like, and it's a little hard to kind of put your finger on. What is it about a magazine, do you feel like, that has so much impact?
Sure. So I think, like, if you compare a postcard to a magazine, right? A postcard, it's going to be very targeted to a very specific thing, and it's likely going to be something like a product or a service that you're trying to pitch, right? Because you don't have any, you have to get your message there, like, in a very short amount of time and in not a lot of space. Versus a magazine is about the content that's in there, right? So it's not viewed as a sales tool, right? It's viewed as a connection point. And I think that's the difference between a lot of the direct marketing or the direct sales, even getting on the phone call. Like, if you're going to call someone up and you're going to ask for how are things going, like, they're immediately thinking like you're talking about the product or service that we're interacting against, right? So, like, versus if you use how people really use the magazines best is they call up and they'll ask about a recipe that was in the magazine. They'll call up and ask about a travel story that was in the magazine. They'll call up and ask, just did you see that thing, right? Whatever that is. And guess what? Now the temperature in the room is going down, because we're not talking about something that someone feels like they're going to get sold on. And so that's, I think, a helpful piece with what the magazine delivers. And then they also use it as a way to ask for a referral in a soft way, right? So if I call you up, Christian, and say, hey, what did you think of that sourdough recipe in the last Retiring Well issue? And you're like, I loved it. Like, and I could say, like, do you know anyone else who would be interested in those types of recipes, right? And immediately you're not asking for a referral where you're going to give me your two best friends that I'm going to go try to sell right away. Instead, I'm just going to set those two people up just to get on my information drip and my information loop so that I'm warming them up, right? So it gives you it's so much more flexible, and it lowers the temperature because people don't feel like it's just a direct selling mechanism. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. I think it makes total sense. And the other thing too is like when you're associated with the magazine, right? And I know there's probably different types that you get that Essential Engine does, but like when like if your picture's on a magazine,
Sure.
in the eyes of especially a Medicare consumer, you may as well be like Tom Cruise.
Right.
It's absolutely true, though. I mean, that is so true. I mean, it really does elevate that agent in the eye of the consumer, the member. So I love Tom Cruise.
They come up in a time, right, where like they associate people on magazines that they're super famous, they're super important, and they're authorities at various things. And so, it's so crazy the impact of it, especially for that demographic. I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about too, like how can great touch points like that also drive more business? Because we're talking about retention. It's definitely a thing there, but it's kind of, two sides of the same coin in a lot of ways. Like, talk to us a little bit about how great touch points also drives new business for an agent. This episode of the 7 Figures or Bust podcast is brought to you by Everything Senior Insurance. Guys, if you're looking for an FMO in 2025 to be a partner with you and really support the overall growth of your business, Everything Senior Insurance is the one-stop shop to allow you to get plugged in with great resources. Whether it's ACA contracts you're looking for, whether it's Medicare contracts you're looking for, whether it's final expense and life contracts that you're looking for, Everything Senior Insurance has got you covered. We provide a free CRM in 7-figure CRM to all of our agents that meet the proper requirements on their contracting and have enough contracts with us. We provide discounted leads with Lead Heroes, discounted virtual assistants with Hire Heroes, and we provide just year-round support to just be there and help you out in your business, as well as fantastic training. Glenn, what do people need to know about Everything Senior Insurance, the FMO?
At Everything Senior Insurance, we've really combined all of our resources to create an FMO that can be a true one-stop shop for a senior insurance agent. Most FMOs have only maybe one resource or even no resources beyond offering that contract. We want to provide value to you as an agent to help you grow your book of business. Or if you want to create an agency, we want to help you grow your agency. And there's so many resources that we have put together to really help you grow your business. So if you are looking for a true partnership, someone that will invest in your business, please reach out to Everything Senior Insurance. We would love to help you grow.
Thanks for listening to this message. And now back to the show.
Can I grab this one?
Go for it, Andrew.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So another opportunity there with the magazine is we can certainly use the inside of the back cover of the magazine or the back cover of the magazine to co-brand with maybe a pharmacist, a doctor, an elder care attorney, a senior center, right? We could certainly put them on the back cover of the magazine with the QR code so you can get an appointment to set a scope of appointment, whatever you really want to do there with that QR code. So as a touch point, first of all, I really do believe you got to be everywhere. You got to be on top of that coffee table. You should be at the senior center. You should be at their elder care office. You should be absolutely everywhere. You should be in their inbox. You should be in their text. And you should definitely have a digital version of the magazine and be in their social media as well. So if you could be everywhere, I promise, people are pretty simple. I'm a simple guy. If I see you all the time, and I'm looking for Medicare insurance because I'm getting ready to turn 65, who am I going to call? Christian, if I see you on the billboard, I see you in the doctor's office, I get the digital version of the magazine in my email, and I'm looking at you right there on my coffee table, of course I'm going to call you. Who else am I going to call, right? I mean, it really just boils down to how simple that actually is as an equation. But I would also say this, because I know obviously we've got limited time, and maybe we can do a webinar that we focus in on the slide deck and all that other stuff. I do want to give everybody that's listening a special promotion. But I will tell you this, for less than $1,800 a year, you can be everywhere. You can be in the inbox. You can be in their social media. You can have a consistent magazine always in their coffee table every couple of months. And that is nothing. That really and truly is. But even going beyond that, I would definitely say this. There's a guy that I know by the name of Brian Harris, very successful financial advisor. By very successful, I mean, the guy's got literally a $2 billion practice. That is extremely successful if you have $2 billion under management. He says you should connect with your client 270 times a year. Could you imagine?
That was gonna be something I was gonna bring up, or wanted to kind of pull the group, is because quantity is always the debate, right? The quantity conversation around touch points. 365 days in a year. How many touch points is required to have the retention that you want, or even to build a growth, from referrals, right? To continue to grow your business. So the number you're throwing out here right now, Andrew, is 270.
Right. And this is one of the most successful financial advisors in the world.
Yeah.
You can look him up, Brion Harris in Annapolis, Maryland. Loves it that I throw this out because, again, it helps him out as well. But Glenn, you and I both know you can't email somebody 270 times a year. I can't call you every day 270 times a year, or else I
might try.
Your
Glenn might
enemy.
try. No, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. Andrew, I think this might be a good pivot point to kind of move into the slide deck.
Okay.
If that
really
sounds good
fast
to you guys.
before we get to that, there was a great comment from Paula. I literally almost said this, so I love that you said this, Paula. People don't want to be sold, but they like to buy. I can't agree with you more. I think that's another great quote from Christian that I've heard before. Also, guys, Freebie Friday happens every Friday right here in the 7-Figure Medicare Agent Facebook group. All you have to do is comment in the Facebook group on the podcast live streams. We do typically at least 2 per week. That gives you 2 chances to enter into Freebie Friday. Last Friday, we gave away T65 leads. Who knows what amazing things we're going to be giving away this Friday. So comment below whether you're watching this live or you're watching the replay. And if you have any questions about anything as well, drop them in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you.
Awesome. Yeah, let's move into this because I want to make sure that we have plenty of time to kind of go through that slide deck. Andrew, since I'm sharing my screen on my end, maybe it's best to just let me know when you want to move to the next slide. Does that sound like a good plan?
I am doing my level best, Christian. So let's see how this flies. You know me with technology. Right.
Andrew, we also have a lot of audio only listeners of the podcast. So, as much as we try to get the video out, maybe do a little bit of extra narrating potentially for some of those audio only listeners to this episode.
Awesome. It looks like, Christian, you are sharing this, or somebody is sharing this. Is this me?
Yeah. Or I can let you share if that's easier. I thought that I was supposed to, but I'm totally
fantastic. Good. Please do. Please do. That makes my life so much better.
I thought that's why it was. I thought that's why it was sent to me.
That is the dream. That was my goal.
Okay, that was the plan. Okay, then we can get to that then.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay, so, I don't like this though. Let me.
Like I said, another opportunity for us too, Christian, because of the fact that not everybody is able to actually visualize this. Maybe we set it up.
There we go.
Standalone.
I got it.
Okay, cool. You're my hero, Christian, as always, in all things except for air hockey. I don't
I was going to say, like, needs exploration is like that's what we're trying to drive at, right? Is you have to do some needs exploration in order to grow your business. Go ahead, Andrew.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, Andrew, take it away.
You got it. So first slide, obviously, is everybody that's on here, or probably most of the folks that are on here, are looking to grow their medical practice. And we've already established the fact that if you're in any business, it really does predicate on the fact of your ability to strengthen a relationship. So if you believe you're in a relationship business, share your hand, throw your virtual hand up in the air. I personally believe we're all in relationship business. And we'll just slide into the next slide. We'll talk a little bit about the fact that obviously how you connect with your clients is incredibly important. We talked just a little bit about the magazine as one of the opportunities to do so. Also, we have social media. Also, we have postcards. So whatever your clients are truly into, we're going to help match content to be able to strengthen that relationship to grow the business. And of course, obviously, listen, if you get a referral from one of your members, you're probably going to be able to bring that member on board as well, or that prospect on board. So the value of a warm referral versus a cold referral is extremely important. And with the next slide, we're going to talk just a little bit about how you can accelerate your practice, obviously using the magazines, which, the Retiring Well magazine is a great magazine here, but we also offer another magazine, which is called the Essential Living magazine. So we'll share a little bit of information about that. Again, $3.99 delivered to your client, including postage, is unheard of in this industry. So just an amazing way with 2 recipe tarot cards to be able to connect with that client. In the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about the fact that, hey, listen, it's not just a transaction, right? I mean, again, if you knew that Bjorn was a skier and you sent ski information to Bjorn, that's actually going to be something he's going to be interested in. And let's face it, your ability to connect at a relationship level with the client and make it a relationship, not just a transaction, is what's going to carry the day. That's what's going to win the day for you guys. And we'll hop into the next slide. Again, I have a very special promotion for everybody, so we want to do something real special for you guys at the end, and that'll be attached to the last slide. So again, how are you connecting with your client? We focus in on the direct mail aspect, certainly as our leading way to bring somebody on board with us and connect with that member. We'll go to the next slide as well. Again, it's a digital world, right? I mean, it is 2026. You do have to be everywhere. So again, if you want us to help you with your digital branding strategy, whether that's sending out a digital version of the magazine, whether that's us actually helping you with your social media, we can do that, and happy to do that. And we have 3 platforms there to choose from to be able to help you accomplish that goal. And with the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about the fact that you guys don't want to spend all your life doing this stuff. So we're going to make it turnkey for you. Next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about the ROI and why it makes sense to be able to connect to your client at a relationship level to drive ROI. I'm going to share a real quick story since we were sharing some stories earlier. I'm going to talk about Frank Maselli. So if you guys don't know who Frank Maselli is, please check him out. He's one of the all-time greatest coaches in our industry. And Frank has one of the funniest stories about using a magazine as a way to help you with your ROI. Frank says, hey, listen, imagine if what the industry coaches you, which is when is the best time to ask for the referral, when you first bring on board that member, and you went to that member and you asked him, again, give me all the referrals of everybody. That's a great strategy, right? We all know that that's a good strategy. We've all had success from that strategy. But imagine if there was a better way. Imagine if you had just taken somebody on a blind date and you had just walked them to a door and you said, hey, by the way, who's 3 or 5 people right now that would also like to date me? That you know? Who's there 3 or 5 women that you know right now that would love to date me? I promise you that blind date would end terribly, right? Maybe you get a door slammed in your face. I'm sure you don't get those 3 or 5 referrals that you were looking for. Frank says, use the magazine. why wouldn't you send out a beautiful magazine that connects with your client at a relationship level with content that's important to them, and then follow it up and say, did you get my magazine? Do you like the magazine? In other words, do you want me to continue to send it to you, right? Now, here's the magic. Rule of reciprocity will absolutely kick in. You just gave somebody a gift. Everybody loves a gift. They're going to almost feel like they should do something as a favor for this wonderful thing you did for them. Now, if you just said, hey, Christian, who's a couple of your friends I can also send the magazine to, since you like it so much? Who's a couple of your friends you'd like me to send it to? Okay, Glenn. Okay, Bjorn. Got it. We'll get a magazine out to them. Now, since we talked about the 3 things that you got to do to make somebody your client, right? One of those 3 things is client experience. Now you reach out to those folks that just got your magazine and you said, hey, just so you know, I'd love to be able to work with you. Christian asked me to send you this magazine. Feel free to go ahead, scan my QR code if you'd like to have an appointment. I promise they're going to like you because you gave them a gift. They're going to trust you because, like you talked about, Christian, you're on the cover of your own magazine. There's power in being on the cover of your own magazine. You're also coming to them directly from their friend. So Zig Ziglar says you got to do 3 things to make somebody your client. You got to be liked. You got to be known, right? The power of being on your own magazine definitely is known. And you're trusted because you came to them from their friend. So if you want true ROI, something you can absolutely point to, try us one single time. Send the magazine out to your member. Ask them, did you get it? Do you like it? And who's a couple of your friends? And if you did that with 50 of your members, just 50 of them, and if you were Galen Hendricks and you also sold them an annuity and sold them some other things, you probably have some folks that are actually high value. So you definitely want to start with those folks. So now if you did that and they each gave you 2 referrals, that's 100 warm referrals for your Medicare practice right here, right now. And you can actually truly point to what is the ROI using that strategy to grow your practice. So anyway, we'll move on to the next slide.
And Andrew, just to clarify here, so these magazines can actually get me girlfriends. Am I hearing this correctly?
For sure, Glenn.
Okay.
Yeah, you're on the cover of your own
This
magazine.
one-
Of course, that's going to get you more girlfriends.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm sold now. If I wasn't sold before, I'm ready to sign up now. That's for sure.
And there's
I'd like
a
to
couple
make
of your
it- like to
friends
make
that
it
would like
known.
to date me, right? There you go.
I'd like to make it known to all the women in the audience, he's taken by me.
So awesome. All right. So obviously we have tons and tons of referral. We've been doing this for 21 years. We have a ton, or 25 years almost. We have a ton of testimonials. So if you reach out to us or you go right to the essentialengine.com site, you can see all kinds of great testimonials there. And we'll just keep on going because, again, I know time is fleeting. So, again, this gives you a little bit of idea. We're not a CRM, guys. We're not really positioned to be lead generation. We truly are here for retention or warm leads. And we'll go on to the next slide. And here you go. So if anybody is looking to connect with me directly, that's my contact information. Next slide. Get you to a QR code. Of course, I'm sure you guys have questions on cost. We touched on it just briefly. We'll talk about a little bit more here in just a second. Next slide. Don't worry about the image sources. They all came from ChatGPT. No, just kidding. Here's your slide. Go ahead. Anybody that would like to order a sample or take advantage of a very special promotion, and here is the promotion that we're offering today. Anybody that comes on board with us right here, right now, we're going to reduce our sign-up fee, which is normally $299, down to 26 cents. It's 2026, so let's kick off this year for all the members. And I said thank you really to you, Christian, honestly, and a thank you to you, Glenn, because we do want to support you guys, obviously, every way we possibly can, and all your members. Please scan the QR code or call me directly. Use my mobile number because I do travel quite a bit. I'll be out at things like 7 Figure Medicare Summit, which I hope everybody goes to. So call me on cell. That's the easiest way to get me. And real quick, just to wrap it up with some of the pricing to give you guys a little bit of an idea of what you're looking at here to work with us. As I mentioned, the next slide will share that we actually have 3 different magazines, as well as postcards, as well as a digital format. Retiring Well, $5.99 a magazine. Essential Living, which has the 2 postcards or the 2 tarot cards, back cover inside and out, $3.99. So again, we're going to do something very special for you guys. We want to engage and we want to help you guys, not just for OEP, but all year long. Get the warm referral. Please go back to the last slide. Use my, if you don't mind. Thank you, Christian. Really appreciate you. Please go ahead, scan that QR code or call me directly on my mobile. And since we only have 5 minutes left, I truly am going to stop talking.
That was awesome, Andrew. Thank you for that.
That was.
Guys, go over, check out Essential Engine, everything they got going. 26-cent sign up fee. Come on, man. Appreciate you doing that for our people here on this podcast, Andrew. And reach out to Andrew, reach out to Bjorn. You know, if you guys have any questions about service, it's a fantastic way to get new clients, but also keep your clients at the same time. It's kind of a double entendre in that way. I wanted to take this opportunity. You know, we still have a little bit of time left to move into final thoughts on today's episode. You know, first off, you know, Bjorn, Andrew, if you guys could also mention, like, if somebody did want to, I know, Andrew, it was in your slideshow, but just maybe repeat it a second time. How can people get in touch with you if they have questions, if they wanted to kind of have a deeper conversation about Essential Engine? Build that into your final thoughts. But Bjorn, maybe we start with you. Final thoughts on today's podcast episode.
Yeah, so like I'll just say first, thanks for having us on. Really appreciate it. So thank you. Here's what I would say. Like, guess what, guys? Retention people are coming for your clients, right? People are coming for your clients. Retention is important. It's much harder to dislodge a relationship than it is a transaction, right? So if you think about the client experience, moving that from transactional to experiential, that's a relationship with an experience, and that's much more difficult to dislodge if you're a competitor, right? So just note that's one of the number one benefits. The second thing is you need to have that familiar, repeated, reinforced, I'm here for you, I'm there, I'm on your coffee table, I'm looking at you every day. Every time you have your coffee, there's my face, there I am. So you're building that comfort, which also keeps your clients from going somewhere else, right? Because they're comfortable with you. And then finally, if you're there, you have an opportunity to talk about yourself and build trust, and it builds authority without the sales pressure of, I'm looking for a referral, I'm sending you a postcard about a product, I'm talking about a product all the time. You're moving that from a salesperson into a guide or some sort of like educator or trusted resource. So those are the things that I would say, if you're looking to retain and you think about client experience, familiarity, touch points, and trust, those are the things I think you got to really stay focused on. And if you do that, you're not gonna have a hole in the boat, as we talked about at the beginning, Christian, right? The hole's not going to be there. So thank you again so much appreciated.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you, Mr. Andrew Saxa.
All right, I'm gonna wrap it up with this. First of all, you know I'm one of your biggest fans of all time, Christian. I've been with you now.
It's mutual. You know it's mutual.
I do. And I just love what you do in this industry. And Glenn, you know I'm a huge fan of yours as well. And I really do believe that Hire Heroes is such an important resource for people to use. And I love the fact that you really do give back to the community by using Hire Heroes. So I highly recommend that. And obviously I've said it several times, but if you're not going to 7-Figure Medicare Summit, please grab your ticket right this very second. But here's how I'm going to wrap it all up on my end. Guys, this is that moment that I promise everyone will look back at and say, why didn't I do more at that particular moment in time? 100,000 people are turning 65 every single day in this country. On top of that, it is a third of our population that are your potential client base between here and the year 2030. 1/3 of the population controlling today $70 to $100 trillion in wealth. So if you want to sell an annuity, bring somebody in true value of one of your Medicare members who really does need your help right now to make sure that those dollars transfer safely to the next generation, get the return that they need, or you just want to help them out where other agents or call-ins to the, whatever thing that's on, their TV or radio, don't do that. Take full advantage of this moment in time. You have to. If you don't, I promise you, you will look back and say, why didn't I do more? Why didn't I do everything I could at the exact moment in time, which was the greatest moment in time to be a Medicare agent and to work in this industry? And why didn't I do more to separate myself from the competition? Why didn't I go to more of seven-figure Medicare agent to be in a room with the top agents in the entire world, the most knowledgeable subject matter experts at the right time? Please take full advantage of this moment. You will never get a better moment in time. So do everything you can right this very second to take action, to grow your career, to separate yourself from your competition, to get more referrals, and to grow your practice. How's that?
I love
Well
it.
said.
I love it. Yes.
Glenn,
Very well
final
said.
thoughts, Mr. Benjamin Shelton.
Final thoughts, you guys. Again, I think back to early in my career, and there were many agents who were big fans of the magnetic business cards. They would spend a lot of time, printing off their business cards and then gluing it or like taping it, some sort of adhesive to a magnetic strip. I think my dad even, he was in a completely different line of work, but I think he did the same thing. It was this idea that if the business card was magnetic, it's going to stick somewhere, hopefully a fridge, right? And now your contact information hangs around. Well, in my opinion, what we've discussed on the podcast today with this magazine strategy, it's really that same concept, but on steroids. Because not only is your contact information hopefully hanging around in the house for a long time, but you also have this content machine behind it that's building value. Mm-hmm. And again, you're kind of giving a gift. You're not just giving someone a magnetic business card that says, hey, hang on to this, but there's actual value behind it. So I love this. I love diversification of marketing. I've been in the marketing space for over a decade now. So I think there's a toolbox where you can have this as one of the tools in there that can really help you grow your business, also help retain the business you've already built, and just continue to win going into 2026. So I really appreciate your time on the podcast today, Andrew, Bourne, and very excited about what you guys are doing over at Essential Engine.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thank you.
Love it. Again, gentlemen, thank you for your time today. Thank you for being on. Thank you for that generous offer to our audience today, bringing that sign-up fee down from, tell me if I got this right, Andrew, $2.99 to 26 cents.
Yes,
My
sir.
goodness. What is that, like 1,000% discount? That's tremendous. So we appreciate that generosity. Yeah. Andrew, your final thoughts got me fired up. We're doing a lot, and I'm like, we need to do more. So fantastic value there with that. And I could not agree more. Just to reiterate that, like, guys, I feel like in the last couple of years, we've been talking a lot on the pod about thinning of the herd thinning, agents getting out, chicken littles, as Glenn likes to call them. When everyone's playing defense, it's the best time to play offense.
Yes.
It's why the most successful people in our world grow their wealth the most during recessions. It's the same type of basic principle. So going on the offensive, is a really good idea in 2026. Now, a lot of you will do it, but a few of you might, and it's going to pay tremendous compounding results. Like it could be on normal trajectory years, multiple years of progress in 1 year. And so that's our focus. And, there's great tools out there like Essential Engine. Highly recommend you take a look at it. That's my final thoughts on episode 188. Again, gentlemen, thank you so much for being on. It's always a pleasure, Andrew. I've been working on my air hockey game. I'll be ready come June for a showdown. We'll have to find one. I don't know where, but we'll find one. Even if we have to have one delivered to the hotel, we will do it, whatever it takes. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. Appreciate everybody. If you watch all the way to the end, you're the real MVP. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, give 5-star review, whatever the platform of your choice will allow you to do. And until next time, here is to your massive success. I have people asking in the chat, by the way, Andrew's number. I've commented it twice. So check the comments in the stream. It's there. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Christian.